Hey everybody, Caleb here, and I've got this Martin 0017. It's an older one. I've not got the year pulled up right now, but I will have it pulled up for you by the end of the next clip. It's got some cracks. It's got a crack right here. I think this is either from bridge coming loose or that pickguard shrinking, but we'll try and fix that. The tuners are missing some pieces here, which we'll do something about that, I think. And we'll get this. I'm pretty sure this is set it all the way up to play. It's a cool old guitar, and it's just a little worse for wear. So we'll see what we can do about it. Alright, so I set this thing down here. And I'm starting to look at this. I went ahead and grabbed my straight edge here. I actually had to take an inch off of my 25-inch ruler. It's now a 2-foot ruler. So I could fit it in here. But you can see he runs into that bridge. So we got a bad neck angle. This does have no truss rod. So this is a 48. I went and looked at the email. This is a 1948 0017. It has no truss rod, or at least no adjustable truss rod. It may have a reinforcing rod, but it has no adjustable truss rod. So in that sense, we are out of luck. But the relief is really not bad. It's actually got a little bit of overbow currently. So some strings on there, I think will flatten her out just fine. What I know is the neck angle is not good. Neck angle is not good. There's this crack here in the top. I don't think the bridge is loose, but so we've got crack, neck angle. We're missing some parts, which I think I'm going to email a customer about here shortly. And I believe that to be it. So I think we've done all of our homework here. We know what's going on with this thing. We know what's wrong with it. I don't think that there's any more cracks on the back. Nope, nothing I see. I don't think the back's loose. I believe it is just what we see up here. So we've done our homework. We know what we need to do. I'm gonna go ahead and email the customer about parts. And actually, I think we're gonna end up pulling the neck on this thing. The good thing is, when you're pulling the necks on Martins, they're built well and they come apart fairly easy, and that's good news. All right, well, we'll get to going. All right, so I've got this thing set up here. I'm going to pull the neck on this. I think that's the very first thing I'm going to do. I have got tons of stuff plugged in and tons of stuff warming up. I've got my little heating iron here so we can unstick the tongue. I've got a little bit of water on this fret that I'm going to have to pull, so hopefully I can soften those wood fibers. I have the steamer underneath my desk heating up so we can pull the neck. Hopefully we can get this all done here very quickly. I don't think it's going to be that difficult because these Martins usually pull pretty well. So, first thing, we're going to pull this fret out. I lightly moistened the board in hopes that it'll soften the wood fibers to make this easier. But I'm not totally certain. Oh yeah, that fret's coming out of there. It's not too bad. That's good news. That's coming out of there really easy. Okay. Love to see it. That fret came out of there super easy. I'm going to set that fret to the side. So the reason I pulled that out is so we can drill 2 little holes so I can get access to the neck pocket. One will be about here and one will be about here, and it'll be in the fret slot. So after we're done, we put that fret back in and you'll never know that it was out. You won't even see the holes. Just gonna wipe this up real quick. So I like to drill this hole before I loosen the tongue so that everything is solid here, because I could have loosened this at this point already, but I prefer to drill these 2 holes while everything is solid so I know where everything is. And now comes the fun part. Let me make sure I got the right size drill bit here. Looks good. So in this neck pocket, underneath this fretboard extension, there's a dovetail. So it's kind of angled in on both sides, and I'm going to try to hit that by drilling into this. And you know, you can't see it, so you're just kind of eyeballing it. And I'm not sure how good that one was, but we'll try again on the other side. That one felt pretty good because right there at the end it just sank. So we should be doing good on that. The next thing we're going to do is start removing this fretboard extension, or loosening it from the top. And right now my bridge heater tool, this guy right here, is not quite up to temp, so I'll let that get up to temp and then we will do that. Alright, so we got this, my bridge removal tool here, heated up. Typically I use this for removing bridges, which is why I called it a bridge removal tool. But it's about 430 degrees, and basically I'm just trying to transfer heat into that bottom glue joint so I can slide my tool under it and loosen it from the top so we can just pull that neck right out. Just kind of let it sit here for a second, and then I will take it off. We're starting to draw some of that oil out of that board. Now the biggest thing when you do this is you want to have a good hold on everything, but down here is only about 400 degrees, so 400 degree frets don't feel good in the hand. And you have to remember that. I think we need more heat. That seam is not ready to come. This can take a little while. I actually have... There we go. I put some cutouts on one side of the board, the tool, so that they fit between the frets so I could heat the board a little bit better. I gotta remember to turn it over and actually use that side. I can hear it sizzling. Just need it to finish heating all the way through the joint. We can clean up the board. I'm not real worried about that. Okay. Come on. Better. There we go. There we go. Cool. We'll do the other side now. Just move this kind of to the other side of the fretboard here. I don't want to really hang off the edge because I don't want to end up heating finish. Just want to heat the board. Okay. Starting to hear it sizzle, which is about the time the other side gave, so I think we're just about there. We'll pull that off. Okay, we should probably try to go from the other side so we're avoiding blowing it out or anything stupid. Well, I tried it. Ouch. We'll try the other way again. There we go. So I've said this before, but it's been a little while since I've done this. I'm not prying up and down at all. I really don't want to do that. That's how you're going to put pressure on something you don't want to, and you're going to break it. But I can move this left to right, and I can push it in. And that does a lot of the work. Fundamentally, I am breaking this. This is, it's glued on here. It's not really meant to come off. I just have to be careful to break this in the most aesthetically pleasing way possible. Alright, we gotta work back on this board. That way I can repair it in a very aesthetically pleasing way. Okay, we'll heat it up some more. We're almost there. We really, really are almost there. Okay. I think we're just about there. I think we're pretty much there. Enough so to be done with this tool. Next thing I'll need to do is get the neck removal jig on here and get the steamer out. And we'll start doing that. I'm going to give this a second to cool down. It's probably still very hot. And I'm going to have to be handling it, so we'll let that cool down and then go from there. So I believe I'm all set up here to start steaming this. Except once again, I forgot something I wanted to do. So 1 second, I'll be right back. So I'm taking my scalpel blade here and I am trying to cut the finish just to make sure we don't tear that finish out. Hopefully it will result in a cleaner removal of this neck. We shouldn't need this for a little while. Okay, and we'll flip this to this back. So I can just do this right here. And I think we're doing good. So this this neck removal jig is made by Stumac. They make this for doing this exact job. And I'm going to start steaming this neck. Got some more towels. Hopefully just to keep everything here dry. We don't want to leave anything on this guitar wet. Okay, I'm going to try to stick it in the other hole. So I've got that in the hole there. I'm going to maybe try and cover this up with some towels so we don't spew hot water everywhere. I'm going to give this a little bit of a turn as well. So this is that screw on the bottom. This should be pushing up against the tail of the neck. We're just going to give this a touch. Okay. I'm going to end up turning this on its side here. I think that's going to be my bet. So I can do this. I'm letting it go, trying to get that joint nice and warm. Because I think once we get it warm, it'll just come right out of there. Ooh, that's hot. Give me something dry. Switching holes again. Never mind. There it goes. It's free. Perfect. Couldn't ask for better. Now that we got the neck out of there, we can start working on getting this thing all dried up. And basically this is going to set overnight while it dries. That neck came out of there great. Honestly, that was just about perfect. Couldn't ask for any better. I am missing a tiny, tiny, tiny chunk right here, which is down here in this neck pocket. But honestly, that turned out really good. So we'll let this dry totally, and then starting tomorrow morning, we will get to work on it. Alright, so I got the neck out of here. This is all dried up. I started on another clip, but I really kind of didn't really go anywhere with it. I was just cleaning up a little bit, making sure the top was cleaned off and the joints cleaned out. And it is, and it looks really good. You can see we're kind of cleaned out, and the neck is sitting over here. We're totally dry now. We're looking good. I think what I actually want to do now that I've gotten that apart is work on this crack. And I think what I'm going to do is actually pull this pick guard off. I'm suspecting it's part of the reason why it's cracked in the first place. It's shrunk a little bit. So I'm going to use my heat gun I got sitting here, and it's going to just really lightly warm that up, and then I'm going to slide my tool underneath and take that pick guard off. I think it's just going to be easier for me to get glue in this crack if I just get that pick guard off, and we'll stick it back down and it'll be no issue. I'm not sitting in one place at all. I don't want to overheat this. Just want to warm it up. Okay. Yeah, warm. And then we're just going to try to real carefully Okay. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh, you can smell that old plastic. That smells like you expect. Cool. So I took that off of there so that I could get better access to this crack, and it is going to help me a lot. Actually, it's running. I don't know how well you can see that crack. I'll point it out here. It is running right down the middle of where that pick guard was. This is going to help me a lot. Get access to it, get some glue in there, and we'll get that closed up. That's what I want to do next, I think. I think that's going to be a good call. Getting this closed up. I just think it's easier to kind of handle the body with no neck, so it's probably easier to do all my body repairs right now while we are neckless. Okay. So we're going to put some glue in that, and I'm going to want to press that flat. So I'm thinking about getting a piece of maybe like parchment paper, put across the top, and a block, and we'll clamp a block in there to help push that back down. And then we'll try squeezing it together. So yep, we'll address this crack next. Alright, I think I've got everything together here to glue this up. I've got a big block for the outside I'm going to set right here. I've got a little block for the inside I think I might use for the clamp. I've got a piece of parchment paper to put down so we don't accidentally glue the block to the top. That's going to be important. I've got a couple clamps, not too far away. So, I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. And it's going to make a little bit of a mess. And I'm expecting that. We're just going to try to force that glue into that hole, into that crack. Just kind of trying to like pump it to make sure it kind of moves. As it moves, it'll suck that glue in a little bit more. Take off some of this excess. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I can see that moves it together because it starts to squeeze it out. That's what we want. So we'll set this on there. And we'll probably overlap it the other way. Set my block down. Okay. Just trying to find a place where I'm not going to be sitting on a brace. That's pretty good there. going to have to go in the waste. It's not going to go anywhere else and stay. But it should help pull it together just a little bit. So I'm just squeezing that top together just a little bit, so that hopefully that'll help pull it in. Most of our work is done here, but this should be a little bit better. We'll let that set up for quite a while. I did go find a piece of mahogany that I could use for a cleat if I wanted to. I haven't fully decided on whether or not I'm going to be cleating this. I might up in this front area, just to make sure that crack doesn't open up again. It is a serious contemplation. I'll wait till this is totally dry before we do that. But I did find a piece of mahogany so I could cut out a cleat if I wanted to. For right now, we're going to let this set up and give it a little while and go from here. Alright, it's been a couple hours and I'm pulling this off of here. And it looks really good. I'm really liking that. Where's that block? Actually, that looks really good. That closed that crack up really good. There's just a little bit of cleanup I'm going to need to do yet. But, like, for that crack, it's gone. I couldn't ask for any better. While I was waiting for that to dry, I went ahead and put some double stick tape on the back of the pickguard so that it will go back on here really easy. Got it trimmed to size, so that's done for the future. I'm not going to do that quite yet, I don't think. But basically, I just went around and kind of scraped off any of the old glue off the back and then stuck some tape down and cut it perfect size. So it'll go back on there perfectly like you never knew it was off. I'm just going to take a slightly moistened cloth and do this. And we're going to take off any of that junk, any of that glue that stuck to the finish. And we're looking good. I am liking that. Okay, that is good news. Actually, that's great news. I am super happy with how much that closed up. I believe we can work on the neck next. So we're going to start working on this guy. I did, over the last couple of days, get parts in for this. You probably know I'm missing some parts. You can see one right there. But the other things I'm missing are tuning buttons for all the tuners. One of these had pieces left over on it, but literally me just kind of like grabbing it and they crumbled. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with this last one here. But I've got 6 new ones. I've also got 6 new bridge pins and the tail pin. So we're doing good on parts now. So we're going to start looking at fitting this back, getting the neck angle adjusted like we want it. So we got some more neck angle. And this thing should be, like, we're really not that far off. I've noticed, so there's this crack here. It tends to, looks like it kind of lines up with this one, or I guess it doesn't. But there is this crack back here. It's been back there the whole time. It doesn't really move. I should probably just take a quick look at it to make sure it's not moving. Because once again, it's easier to do when I'm dealing with just the body and not the whole thing. But it doesn't seem to... Okay, well, okay. So I just was about to say, it doesn't seem like it opens, but I think it does right here. Yep, it sure does. So we're going to glue another crack. And this one might get cleated all the way back in there. I'm not sure if I've got a... Like, I'd like to do exactly what we just did again. Put this down. Put the block on top of it. Kind of squeeze in from the sides, as well as clamp down. I'm not sure if I've got a clamp long enough to do this. This is really deep in there. But I'm going to go check that first, and then we'll glue that crack up. Alright. So I went and got a clamp. It does fit. It comes all the way out to here. That's kind of what I wanted. Now we're going to do this. Make a huge mess, because it's just not as fun if you don't. Okay. Now that you've made a sufficiently good mess, time to clean it up. Well, we're going to try to pump it, make sure we get some in there. And then we'll try and clean it up. I'm realizing right now that I haven't been making sure that I was on camera, but I think we're still doing pretty good. Oh yeah, there's glue in there. Okay, so we're doing good enough that I can clean the rest of it up later. So we'll do this. Set that block on there. We'll get this clamp in here. And I will start tightening that up. Okay, cool. I got glue falling off of me, but cool, we're there. And then we come through and we squeeze those outsides together just a little bit. And I think we're looking good. So we'll let that set up for a little while and come back to it. All right, so I let that crack glue up overnight. And about an hour ago, I stuck this on here. This is the cleat on the inside. This should be dry at this point. There's a couple of magnets on the inside holding that cleat on. I really just couldn't get anything back that far, but it should be good. Let me try and get that out of there now. The other magnets, that is. So that should be nice and solid. So the big thing about that cleat is the grain direction is going opposite of the top. So the top of the grain goes this way, and the cleat it goes this way. That way you really can't split that grain across it. So it should help keep that crack from opening back up. I believe after that we are really just about done with this guy for a little while. And we can start looking at this guy.